community, and both from the filmmaker's perspective and from the oil investment industry. So both of your perspectives, I'd like to hear. Did you think it was representative from the investment community, and what was the decision behind that choice?
Well, basically, it was Van Jones and Carl that were probably more on the other side. It was just a choice. Because I tried to make it was very Houston-centric. I really tried to keep it in the confines of Texas, and and really explore what it was to be an independent oil man, because I think that independent spirit is what we need to apply today. So I kind of stayed there, and then I just felt like it was covered. I really was, originally it was just going to be oilmen, and then I had this opportunity to meet Carl Pope. He was there anyway, so I interviewed him, and then someone started bashing Carl Pope. So I'm like, okay, hey Carl, I got this question for you. This oil man just said this, what do you think about that? And it was like this opportunity to kind of create a dialogue. And that's ultimately, I think, what I was hoping to do, is to create a dialogue for everyone.
I think I got my start in becoming an energy investment banker back in 41 years ago, when I met an incredibly remarkable pioneer of the commercial diving business who had helped create the mixed gas diving tables to allow the man to go safely beyond about 100 feet without dying in the bends. And the company was headquartered in Santa Barbara. And when I went to Santa Barbara, it was about 40 days after the spill. And unfortunately, the Santa Barbara oil spill turned out to be one of the most misunderstood events, minor event, but unfortunately it created the green movement. And for the last 40 years, the green movement has tried to shut down fossil fuels versus recognizing that fossil fuels is one of the best things that happen in the environment. That's one of the reasons it was so interesting to get on Stuart Udall, because there's no greater conservationist, environmentalist than Stuart Udall, but he totally understood that modern energy was what cleaned up the environment. So I think that I had a hard time finding I've been to a lot of energy conferences, I've probably spoken to 1,000 of them. I've heard a lot of our environmental leaders get up and just bash the Jesus out of fossil fuels as there was something absolutely evil. But I think they didn't get it. Now, unfortunately, fossil fuels are going away and they still don't get it. So I think there's a real need for an epiphany of some of our leading environmentalists, that this is basically not an issue where we need to get rid of this because it's an awful thing, it's going away.
So you're a real believer in people.
I've done my homework.
Of course. That's great. I just am curious. Do you have any thoughts about America's natural gas supply and the code?
I think our natural gas supply is in far worse shape than oil. And we're literally diluting ourselves. Shale gas is a bridge or a bulwark, as Dan Jurgen said at a conference in Dallas 10 days ago, for sort of the next 200 or 300 years of energy supply. And within a year, shale gas will be gone.
So what is this, just hedging? Why is everyone acting like there's so much?
Everyone believes it. I think basically probably towards as you're headed into any great crisis, you get sort of snake oil salesmen come out with fabulous solutions. We certainly had that in the late 30s. And this won't be a problem because of X. I think that we're basically deluding ourselves that we have solved our problem with something that basically is not going to last. The decline rates of shale gas are vertical. And the amount of water in the Fort Worth Basin, which is the Barnett Shale, we have now destroyed 100 billion gallons of potable water. And the EPA issue of putting on the Clean Water Act is extremely serious. It's a carcinogenic thing. So I think within a year, shale gas will be over. And we'll basically look back and say, why did we spend another time just whistling past the cemetery?
Well, with that said, what about the offshore? Is that a bubble?
Yeah, I think it's not a solution, but I think it's actually a very positive deal, and I think it's one of the things that couldn't have been done in a Republican administration. It's Nixon going to China. And I think it's going to prove, now, unfortunately, we haven't a clue where we drill, because other than the eastern part of the Gulf of Mexico, because we've gone 50 years without even thinking about it. So it's going to take a long time, but it's better than doing nothing. So it's a sliver.
And there's no infill structure. We'll talk about transport and pipe and rust.
two of my favorite topics are rust and the aging workforce. And unfortunately, about 85% of our infrastructure to basically deliver fossil fuels to turn into modern energy is far beyond the original design life and they have to be rebuilt. If we rebuilt 60% of it, it would cost about $100 trillion on a global basis, but we're also out of people. About 2/3 of the workers, all these people you saw, did you see any young guys in your movie? About 2/3 of the workers in the energy system, from the nuclear workers to the refinery workers to the coal workers to the oil and gas people, are going to retire in the next 5 to 7 years and we have no one coming along to replace them. So we're in a deep hole.
Nicole's doing a workshop in documentary directorial skills here, pulling out the good information from our interview subject. I appreciate that. So another question back here from the audience.
So in the film you showed many new emerging technologies, steam, algae. I guess this question is mainly for Matt. Coming from the science point of view, how do you evaluate these emerging technologies that may not pay out for a long time for investment? Because investment is really what's going to drive the development of many of these technologies.
Well, I think I know with the efforts that I've been working on with this Ocean Energy Institute, we have some technologies coming out of the woodwork that are just dying to get a little bit of capital, but they've had no traction of anyone really interested in investing in them. So I think that once we have an energy Pearl Harbor, we're going to find that there's an enormous amount of capital out there. What we need to do is make sure this stuff works, so you don't throw $1 billion at something until you've tested it. But I think that we're going to go back and do venture capital the old-fashioned way, which is sort of what created America after World War II. There are also some that just limits barriers to I mean, energy is a complicated business, and which is one of the reasons that the only new form of energy we created in the 20th century was nuclear energy. All this existed in 1900.
Speaking of, what do you feel about nuclear energy?
I think nuclear energy, it was tragic that we misunderstood it. We should never basically shut it down, but I think we have to be very realistic today that we have not found any high-quality yellow cake for 40 years. We have in the United States at least 40 of our nuclear plants that have to be replaced in the next 20 years, have to be. It's not clear that basically we have the uranium to do that. Some of the best staff work in Washington, D.C., by Roscoe Park, that staff think that we probably, to build a 1,000-megawatt nuclear plant, choose through the amount of energy you actually create in the next 15 years. So on a net present value basis, it's a net energy loser.
Isn't there a couple on the books? There's a couple plants.
A couple of plants on the books, but on the same time, we're apparently going to shut down the one up the Hudson River from New York. So we have a lot of problems in nuclear. And we just misunderstood nuclear. We were coming through this terrifying Cold War and just got sort of freaked out on us. But I think today to rely on nuclear bailing us out is another illusion.
Yeah.
Matt, what would an energy Pearl Harbor look like?
An energy Pearl Harbor could be one of 100 different events. As for instance, 2 weeks ago there was a news flash that came across the wire saying that all the tanker owners going through the strait, with tankers going through the straits of Malacca, need to fire on any approaching ships because the terrorists are apparently going to try to sink a tanker in the straits of Malacca, and that would shut down 13 million barrels a day of oil going to Asia. Then a week ago, last Monday, Saudi Arabia announced that they just arrested 113 terrorists. Their suicide bombers trying to attack Abqaiq, which is the process of all Saudi Arabia's oil. Either one of those would be a nuclear would be an energy Pearl Harbor. Having gasoline lines this summer in the United States, which would spread around the world, would be an energy Pearl Harbor. I could give you about 20 events. None of them are guaranteed to happen, but all of them have beyond 20% odds of happening this year.